Hey, so I wanted to answer a quick question about dribbling and how to make dribbling effective in a real game versus in free play. So let's imagine I'm freeze framed right now, right? If I'm dribbling in free play, if I take this ball straight down the middle and I put it on target, it's gonna go in, right? But first, as a defender, the defender is going to be putting themselves obviously between the ball and the goal. So if I'm dribbling like this, or if I get the ball up on the roof of my car, that's going to block 90% of my field of view, right? And so I think the question you were asking was, how do I fix this problem? How do I know when I have space? And how do I actually make my dribbles effective in game? So let's take a look at that. And one thing you need to understand first, right, is what is a dribble if not a series of small hook shots? So when we look at how we want to set up hook shots, right? This is a terrible setup for a hook shot. If I drive straight at it and then I try and cut it in, what am I going to do? I'm going to push it to the side of the net. And your dribbles are the same way, right? And I'm just going to reset the ball to the center here. So when I'm dribbling, I also don't want to be aiming straight at the net like this. We're going to fix the problem in the same way, right? With a hook shot, I taught you to take the ball off to the side so that you can come and actually hook it in. We're going to be doing the same thing with our dribbling. And I want to show you three quick examples of games I got last night. These were all clips taken in back-to-back games, so they're not cherry-picked too hard. And you can take a look at how you should be setting up either your hook shots or your dribbles because it's the same method. So let's jump into those replays. So here's what I mean about the hook shot thing, right? So let's look at clip number one. The opponent's taking it up the wall. He's going to look like he's either going for an air dribble, or at this point it looks more like a pass. Okay, here. This is where I'm making my decision. He has messed up. There's no way he's going to get a good touch here. He might get a ground pitch, but probably not. So I've decided to go for a dribble here, right? And I'm not going to shoot it straight at the net because I think he might dunk me. So I'm going to do the same thing I was going to do if I was setting up a hook shot. I'm going to take a touch to the outside. And now I've got room, right? Here's where I'm evaluating. Okay, now I'm either going for a hook shot if I think I can beat the defender, or I'm going for a short dribble. Both of these have the same setup. I'm pointing, my car and the ball towards the corner and then cutting in. So here's a tiny touch and then a tiny side flick, right? I could have taken a hook shot maybe. I felt like a short dribble here was a better way to beat the defender. So that's situation number one. Let's look at it real time. So at 100% speed, I'm waiting until I'm sure he's missed the touch. I'm taking a touch to the outside. And then based on the defender, I'm deciding whether I'm going to hook shot or do a short dribble. Here's clip number two. I'm on defense. I'm making a stop. I can see that there's only one defender in front of me. And here's where I'm deciding to go for a dribble, right? I'm still far away from the ball. I'm not going to immediately try and put it towards the net. I know the other opponent is out of the play because he just missed a shot, or I just, won the 50-50 against him. And so I'm going to hook in a little here, but I'm not putting it immediately on net. I'm still kind of pointing between the corner and the post. And you can see here I picked up the ball and I can still see my opponent, right? And so I can hesitate my flick for a long time because I can watch that opponent throughout the entire shot. And so when I do actually take my flick, I know it's one that he's not going to get to. Okay, so if we back this up and look at it in real time, right? Again, I'm looking at my opponent, not at the ball, and I'm reacting to him. I'm reacting to him and choosing my offensive technique based on what he's doing and not what I want to do, right? So I'm watching him as long as possible, and that setup, keeping it off to the side as long as possible, is critical to me doing that. Let's look at one more, and this will be a 2v1 situation. Okay, so same thing here. I'm shadow defense until I see my opponent make a mistake. This is where I'm deciding is probably a good opportunity to dribble, and here I know for sure, because both my opponents are facing away from me. I know Triggered Gnome can't make a challenge here. At this point, I still could have just banged it. I could have just flipped into the ball right if I wanted to. But because he's not in position to challenge, I'm considering him out of position, as is his teammate. So we're going to go for a dribble. We're going to take advantage of that, right? So here we go. And as I set this up, you can see again, I'm not facing exactly towards the goal. I'm going to set up more of a slalom. And I'm actually going to, whenever I can, you can see peek around the ball like that so I can see the defender, make sure he hasn't turned yet, right? So I'm going into my next slalom. He still hasn't turned. I know he's not going to challenge. Now I'm already past him, but I just saw his teammate, and I'm just going to slalom it past the teammate. Okay, so no game audio here because I'm redoing the voiceover. What I want you to take away from this, right, is because my opponents are going to be between the ball and the goal, what I'm doing with my own car, with my own point of view, is I'm slaloming back and forth so I can keep getting glances of my opponents to the left or the right of the ball. It's much easier to see off to the sides than it is to try and see over. So what you see in this example, and I realize it's a bit more intense in this third example, but I'm slaloming back and forth continuously, taking a bunch of small touches to my left and then to my right so that I can keep vision on my opponents. And certainly this last dribble was pretty advanced compared to some of the clips we saw earlier, but this shows you the evolution between taking 1 or 2 touches off to the side versus taking the full 5 or 6. So hopefully that was helpful. Good luck.